Hi. So today we will be talking about devil in tarot, but before we dive directly into the devil, I would first like to give an introduction. So tarot cards have been popular since the 13th century, but they were not back then known as the tarot we know now. Instead of being divination tool, these were merely playing cards. They were parlor games, salon games, and they were infamous for being circulated only among the elitist class. They were games which not everyone had access to, and they were curtailed by the elite. Now, here that is why you see in today's deck as well, we have the jester, king, queen. There are many similarities between the modern day play cards and the modern day tarot deck. And that comes from the fact that tarot has always has been around us since the 13th century, but as card games. So in 1430s in Italy, it formally began as tarot, and the word tarot comes from the word tarocchi, which I am sure I'm butchering the pronunciation, so I'm really sorry for that. It's an Italian word which loosely translates to foolishness. Now, the idea, how I see this foolishness is because these were cards which did not have any sense to it. These were cards which were played with various kinds of rules. There were not just one rule that, okay, this is the deck of the card, this is how we are playing it. No, there were various, probabilities and styles of it, different kinds of spreads for each card type of card game. So yes, foolishness is something that I interpret with like this. So the game started with fewer cards. Currently, we have 78 cards in a standard deck. But when it started, we started with somewhere around 50 cards and kept evolving until the 18th century, where it suddenly gained the reputation for divination. It was only then that people started to realize that these images on the cards that they were seeing, they were a mockery of the real life. The illustrations which were present, they somehow reflected in a caricatured way how life was at that time, and they started seeking these cards for some sort of guidance. So Arthur Waite was an oculist and he was a member of the Order of the Golden Dawn, and he commissioned the artist Pamela Comlin Smith to create an artwork for a new tarot deck set. And this is how we called it the Rider Waite Tarot deck. Rider was the marketer, the publishing house, and Waite comes from the Arthur Waite. It's not actually very surprising that Pamela Comlin Smith, being the illustrator, has no say in the name of it, being the woman. But yeah, Smith used watercolors to uh, create these 78 cards. The deck was marketed in 1909 and has since become the standard deck for tarot practice. Now, if we talk about these 78 cards, the first card is the Fool. And the Fool is numbered 0. It's not even numbered 1. The number 1 card is Magician, but number 0 card is the Fool. And it is believed that in the world of tarot, it is believed in the world of tarot that the tarot deck, the entire 78 cards, they are nothing but the Fool's journey. So the deck is divided into two parts, Major Arcana and Minor Arcana. Major Arcana, we say that these are your dominant energies, these are your heavy energies, these are the energies that are bringing major changes in your life, whereas the minor arcana, they are further divided into four suits: swords, wands, cups, and pentacles. And these are your everyday, day-to-day energies, which do change, but they change more rapidly than the major arcana energies. Now, to start with the devil at last, before I start with the devil, I would like to introduce two concepts, or one concept rather. It's a concept of light and shadow. So in spirituality, we believe that everyone has a light part to them and a shadow part. We call it the shadow self. Yeah, shadow self and light self. Shadow selves are basically those parts of us which we are not very proud of, which are our blockages, our hindrances, something that we need to heal from. Now, this could be our guilt, fear, anger, shame, embarrassment, whatever it is which becomes a hindrance in your own journey, in your path of enlightenment. And the light part is actually what your virtues are and how you allow more positivity, love, and experiences to enter in your life. So, when we speak of devil here, because this is something I will be talking a lot in my explanation of the devil rules the shadow. Now, to start more formally about the devil is the 15th card of the Rider Waite deck, which forms six if you combine 1 and 5. And number 6 is again in many cultures and occults associated with the devil. So the devil here is represented by the Baphomet's image, and again it was Pamela Smith's idea to use Baphomet as a devil, because prior to this, the Baphomet was a deity in itself who was worshipped by the Knight of Templars, and it Baphomet was established as the deity in 1089, if I'm not wrong, and it wasn't until till mid 15th century that we see the correlation between Satan and Baphomet. So it wasn't something which was that it's a synonym that you will say that Baphomet equals to devil or devil equals to Baphomet. No, it was an idea which evolved over the centuries. So talking about symbolism in the devil, sorry, can you see the zoomed in image? Okay. Oh, it's tricky to get my trackpad to the exact size. Okay, so we start with the inverted pentagram over here. Pentagram in spirituality is a symbol for protection, but here, as an inverted pentagram, it is black magic. It is the dark magic. Then we have the hypnotic stare of the devil. He is trying to entrance those, lure those who are willing to follow his path, those who are dubious in their minds about what they need to do next. He's the one who's looking them into the eye and trying to lure them that come this way, this is the way to go. Then we have the vampire bat wings giving into the raw desires, and raw desires as in the animalistic desires about your anger, your instant gratification, your sexuality. And it is also a metaphor for sucking the blood out, that is to completely have you surrendered to the devil. Then we have the horns in these two primitive humans, which indicates that they are becoming like the devil. They have started with the transformation. Then we see a fire tail in both these humans. For the woman here, she has grape tail. They signify pleasure, and it comes from a very Christian and a biblical idea that the woman would surrender first to the pleasure. And here for the man, we have a fire, and the fire here is passion, lust, that aggression that we stereotype men with, that men are passionate, they have a huge need for aggression and lust within them. This is what that signifies. And the chains, if you see that they are chained, these chains, they are signifying that they are held against their will, or they are being chained, they are being trapped. So this is what it is. In fact, these chains, if you see, they are very loose. They are not suffocating as such in the size that they would be tied tightly around their neck. They are very loosely. The man and the woman can try to get out of it, but again, it's the hypnotic gaze of the devil which has entranced them, hypnotized them into believing that this is where they belong, this is where they are safe. Now, this position of the card, the devil card, we call it the upright position. And in upright, the meaning of the devil card is material focus, trapped in slavery, addiction, depression, negative thinking, betrayal. So we also read reverse cards. That is, if the card was to be reversed and it comes out in a reading, that would mean overcoming addiction, toxicity, independence, reclaiming power, and detachment. Sometimes people don't want a complicated answer to their question. They simply ask for a yes or no. In that case, the devil card says no. if somebody wants to associate tarot with astrology, because many people like to do that, it is governed or associated by the planet Saturn. Now, the Baphomet here, half man, half goat, he is the opposite of one of the other cards that we have in the deck. It's called the Lovers. Now, in the Lovers, there are only two differences. Actually, three. Sorry, there are three differences, and the differences are, instead of the black background, it's a clear sky. Instead of the Baphomet, we have Archangel Raphael, I think, and they don't have the chains. That's the only difference. That is why we say that this is the opposition. The Lovers is the card that you need to first love yourself, make a choice based on how you want to perceive your future, your principles, your morality. But in this card, we see that this is the card which talks about instant gratification. This is the card which talks about what is your biggest blockage right now. That card talks about what is your biggest virtue right now, and this totally talks about the opposite thing. At the foot of the devil, a man and woman seem to be chained to their shadow selves and raw desires, as I had just explained. So, the devil is the card of illusion, it is the card of toxicity, obsession, and addiction. This further signifies anxiety, depression, unhealthy attachments, and fear. Anything when in excess is out of control. Is out of control and is devil's tool. Here, I would like to give the example from Dr. Faustus. Gluttony, one of the seven sins in Dr. Faustus. So, what is gluttony? When you can't have a control on how much you want to eat and you keep obsessively eating and eating, and it's not even binge eating. It's like you can have small proportions, but you can't stop thinking about it. Every time you want to feel good or you want to do something, you want food to be involved in that process. So that excess gluttony becomes a sin. And in tarot, we say that it is because of the devil, that the devil here is the reason why you are feeling that blockage. It also signifies short term pleasure and instant gratification. To break free, one must acknowledge the hold that their blockages have over them and start their journey of healing. One cannot heal themselves until and unless they haven't acknowledged themselves. So you have to understand that a lot of psychological process goes on in tarot when we are explaining it to our querents, that if this is the case, you have to accept it. Then one more thing that tarot signifies is it's a situation where you feel powerless. And this is where the chains come in, that you feel chained, you feel restricted, you feel as if no matter how much I do, I just can't move around. I don't have my freedom, I don't have my liberty. So that feeling of being helpless in a situation, of being powerless, that too is denoted by devil. The shadow paths are recurrent pattern and causing you harm. So everyone has shadow paths. Then why is it that devil shows up in a reading? Well, the devil shows to warn you about a certain shadow paths which have become so recurrent and dominant in your personality that they have finally started to hinder you and your growth. They have actually become rather your blockage, that no matter how much you try, you just cannot let go of them. For example, addiction is one such thing that you are not very happy about it. It starts as a normal activity, a fun activity, but then because of the instant gratification that you get out of it, you keep giving into it, and at the end of it, it becomes such a burden on you that it hampers your daily life. Another meaning of this card is to be not in a safe space. Now this could actually mean physically an unsafe place, or this could also mean emotional and mental abusive space where somebody is abusing you, oppressing you mentally and emotionally, manipulating others solely for your own ulterior motive and oppressing them. As I had said, when we are talking about not creating a safe space, this is what is meant, that somebody is trying to manipulate you. So if somebody comes to me and asks about a person or a situation, and this card comes out, The only thing I will, not the only thing, but one of the things that I will be telling them is that this person is manipulative. They will try to get their way. They will try to emotionally manipulate you, mentally torture you or something, just so they could get their way with you. Cannot resist temptation. Again, as we were speaking about instant gratification, that temptation of, no, this is something that I want. It becomes, it starts as a passion, then it becomes a temptation that you just cannot be without. For people, when we call people workaholic, that they can't live without it, like the actual workaholic, not how we casually throw the term around, not that, but they can't. It's a temptation. It gives them like a kick that, no, I have to have this. I have to have that materialistic goal fulfilled, or this person in my life. I was explaining it to someone yesterday that cannot resist temptation, that uh, I have to have this person, or else this person will, I if I don't get this person, nobody else will get this person. Some, even that's very driven by the temptation and egocentric. So now, to take up some mostly asked questions that we get in our from our queries in career. If somebody is asking me about their career, how it's going, or what can they expect, or if they come up with a problem in their career, it signifies being trapped in your job. That no matter what you do, you have not got that liberty of being as creative or artistic as you would want to be, which again creates the feeling of being powerless or helpless. Self sabotaging because of insecurities. So sometimes it's not the others who are sabotaging us, sometimes it's our own insecurities, our own fears, that, no, oh, I can't do this. Oh, no, this is far beyond my reach. Oh, I'm not capable of that. Because we don't feel secure within ourselves. So it feels like we can't. Hence, we end up sabotaging. In fact, procrastinators, they do it the most. That, either they will do it at the last minute or they will not, and they sabotage it that way. So, in one year, I had given the example that, you have an angel and a devil on either of your shoulders. So it's like the devil is whispering in your ears, don't do it, you will fail at it. Don't do it, people will make fun of you. Don't do that, they will laugh at you. So that is the self sabotaging. Blaming your colleagues for your mistakes. This is not taking responsibility. This is playing that blame game, shunning away from your accountability and responsibility in order to not tarnish your own image and not caring if you're throwing someone else under the bus. In finance, uh, gambling, gambling to the point that you are going to lose everything. That it doesn't matter. You just want, okay, one more time, let me put my money one more time, let me put my money one more time. Okay, I won this time, I'll win the double next time, not realizing that you have been stuck in this trap. Another meaning in the finances is excessively spending the money to the point that you're bankrupt. You don't care about how much money you have got, but you have got to spend it. It could be peer pressure, it could be your own insecurities, it could be your own way of coping up with things, but this is what is signified by the devil as well. The next question we get, and the most often asked, is the relationship, love. So in love, this is lust and temptation, uh, that there is no emotional connection over here. The person is there within the relationship, or the relationship entirely is based on lust and temptation. Sense of hedonism and being selfish. Again, running away from responsibility. This could be running away from deeper commitment, that the person wants to be like, no, I want to live in the moment. I just don't want to think about the future. Let's think of today. Let's do it today. We are here today. But if you look carefully, they are running away from responsibility and the commitment of a future. Codependency on the partner. So, codependency is that, I eat when you eat. This is very common in India. I don't know about rest of the world, but yeah, I'll eat when my partner eats. I'll buy something when my partner thinks it's the time to get me something. or we'll go on a trip when my partner is available. Basically, everything is focused on your partner and not on you. Even if you want to do something as basic as I want to eat, I'm hungry. No, but my partner is not here yet. How can I eat without them? So, this codependency is that no matter what happens, I am incomplete without my partner. So, that is also represented by devil. And I think the reason why it is represented by devil is because without your partner, you think you are nobody. Your only goal in this relationship is to make sure that the partner is happy, which stems from a very insecure place psychologically. Losing yourself in the relationship. Again, this is interconnected with the codependency because I'm giving, receiving not so much. A person might have certain interests, but after getting into that relationship, they just gave up on everything that they always wanted to do in life or they used to do in life or their friends. And it is very common, especially with females that I see. uh, so yeah, that is also there, that this relationship is making you lose your own self. You are disconnected within your own self, your true self. Fear of abandonment. This person will leave me. Is there any data for it? No. But I know this person will leave. So that is again that, devil sitting on your shoulder and whispering into your ear, no, they are going to leave you. You are not what they want. They are going to leave you. So yeah, that is the fear of abandonment. Feeling trapped. No matter what you do, the relationship is not what you had wanted, and now you feel stuck. That is also a part of it. The relationship is taking a toll on your mental health. That your mental health has somehow deteriorated because of this relationship. This could be because of the emotional abuse, gaslighting, ghosting, whatever. But it is not good for your mental health. Uncontrolled jealousy and anger. Your partner or you, there is so much jealousy that it has become a big blockage in your relationship with each other. It has to the point that there is no other way that you two could be with each other. Physical abuse, sexual violence. Physical abuse here is about, as it states, and physical abuse, more than that, I think it's mental abuse which is leading to the physical abuse. So I think they are both connected. I could be wrong though. Sexual violence, sexual experiences involving kink. Now, this is something that I believe in. I haven't read it anywhere. I might be wrong. I think this comes from a very biblical idea that sexual experiences which have kinks are negative in nature. Because I believe till the time they're consensual, it's healthy. If both the partners are okay to do whatever it is, I don't see how it can be negative. Yeah, I mean, if it's forced, definitely yes, but I still believe that this comes from a very religious mindset. Cheating. Your partner is cheating on you. If single, then what's the reason that this card has shown up? Afraid to open up. You are too afraid to allow someone to enter your life and to share your life with someone. Only looking for hookups, you're not ready to open yourself emotionally. Looking for a partner who can be easily manipulated. Now, this is someone who's very insecure within themselves and they are just looking for a partner on whom they can be like, okay, do this for me, do that for me. Oh no, you are not this, you're not that. So yeah, afraid to let go of the past hurt. Now, this is something that I always tell my querents, that if you have had a bad breakup, take some time off from dating or being in a relationship and heal yourself from that breakup. But sometimes people find it really hard to not be with someone because they might be missing that company or whatever the reason may be, uh, social pressure. So it's in this scenario that we have that people are like, no, my ex used to do this, but he doesn't do this for me, or he does exactly what my ex used to do. So yeah, not letting go of the past and accepting the present as such. Now, if somebody is asking us for a potential relationship, then the devil card says that the relationship can be harmful in the long run. That currently it might be very charming and luring, but it has the potential to be harmful in the long run. The person that the parent is asking about is deceptive in nature. The person is not what they look like. The guidance here with the devil is work on yourself, heal yourself, because you have to understand the devil plays on your mind. So it is all about healing. So if somebody is asking about health, in health, what does this indicate? Poor health due to addiction. This could be substance abuse, this could be any sort of addiction, and that has resulted to the poor health. It also further signifies depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, and high blood pressure. Now, if you were to reverse this card, this is a liberating card that finally you did have some issues, but you are uh, getting out of those issues. So that is the explanation. Now let's move to different cards of other decks. So you see, it's a very pictorial divination tool here, and the messages, the messages are very deeply related with the illustrations. So even though the Raider Waite deck is the standard deck, but of course each artist, each creator wants to come up with their own ideas. So these are certain various decks that I have, and I would like to show that even though the basic meaning remains the same of what I have just shared, but with each different illustration, something or the other changes. But so this one we have, it's from the deck Heaven and Earth Tarot. This is pretty much the same. I think other than the background and having a better graphic, it's pretty much the same. But here you can see the devil seems to be more aggressive in his body language over here. He seems to be more aggressive. And the way these two, the primitive humans, look at each other, their body language tells that they don't know much. They are hypnotized, they are entranced. In the previous one, they were just standing erect, and here there is. And if you see, they are not very primitive. They do have some cloth on their genital area. This signifies that there is a scope for them to run. They have still not turned into minions. But on the other hand, another uh, meaning of that would be that they are hiding something from each other. They are not naked in front of each other. So there is no transparency with each other. The next we have is the Sacred Rose deck. And here you see it's very abstract graphic, the representation of devil over here. We don't even have the pentagram here on the head, but we have a flame instead on the head. So, but if you look at the man and the woman, they have succumbed. They have accepted their fate. They are bowing down and they are kneeling. And if you look closely, they are not chained to anyone else but to themselves, like with each other. So this here shows that you do have the opportunity to escape, but you have just given up on the hope. Here is the Lightseer Tarot deck. This is after the Rider Waite deck on Instagram and TikTok. This is the most popular deck. So if you look, we have the very humanized version of the devil over here. And uh, it's a very charming and a lucrative, luring in devil who's trying to, he's, stretching his arm towards you that come, his hand towards you that come. And if you look closely, there is a human figure whom he's controlling as a puppet. And again, human figure 2 has given up. He has his head bowed and hands over the head. So, yes, but if you look in his eyes, they are not as hypnotic as the ones we had in the Baphomet. But again, these are more charming. These are more like luring in that come, it's okay. Trust me, that sort of a thing. Then this is the tarot of modern goddess, and it is a Greek goddess whose name is Bobo, Baubo. I might be not pronouncing it right. So, in the traditional Greek mythology, Bobo has her head over her vagina, and she hasn't got any head over her neck. But in this cut, she has two heads. So, to me, it seems like a honey trap where she's a seductress. She is saying that, come over, it's going to be fun. And it's your shadow part speaking to you, your urge, your primitive urge to have that instant gratification speaking to you rather than logic. And if you look, the chains that are running from one of her wrists, they are not going to anywhere else. And she hasn't even got the pentagram. But yeah, her braid is like the fire tail that we had with the Bephonet. And even in the background and on her boots, we have the same illustrations as a fire. And I think she is sitting on a huge speaker, which is blasting some music. So it could be like, that she is trying everything up her sleeves to lure you in, to create that distraction for you to believe her. So with that, I come to the end of my presentation.